Okay, we seem to be live. Let me just get up on chat here. Where's the live stream? My ring light is flickering. Okay, here we go. It's been a while since we've done this. Let me just get my chat up here. Okay, I've got chat. Remember to grab the URL for the live stream. Closing that window. Let me just do some social sharing. And then we can begin. Once we have, you know, people watching. Because that helps. Tweeting. Tweet sent. Now I'll share this in some Facebook groups. It's interesting. The posting on Facebook looks a little different now. It looks like they've added the formatting that you get when you edit a document. So it was weird because it's got that little... It's like the show hide logo from Microsoft Office, and so that popped up, and I'm like, why are you trying to hide everything I'm trying to post? But that's not what it was, because you hover over it, and then it's like, oh, do you want to bold it, italicize it, you know, make it header 1, 2, 3, little old HTML stuffs. And just doing the social sharing. Then once we get some people here, then we can begin in earnest. Not in, you know, Vern, but, you know, like, sincerely. So just bear with me as we get everything fired up here. It's been a while since I've done one of these. Back in April, I promised you a month of Fridays where I was going to live stream, and I think the last Friday I didn't, just because some life things got in the way. So by my count, I owe you guys a live stream, so here I am. I'm rebranding it a little bit. Ran into some difficulties with previous efforts. Hey, how's it going? Happy Friday. Operation Life. Thank you. How do I sound? Is there an echo? Do I sound okay in terms of my audio quality? And also, thanks for being the first to join us. Happy Friday to you. Things are going all right. Some mixed feelings about a couple things. For one, I just filmed my final promo box unboxing. So that was bittersweet because there was some cool stuff in it, but I was like sad because it's the last one. So that was weird. And yeah, I just, slight echo. Okay, let's see if we can address the slight echo. Because, yeah, that is irritating. Let's see if I can remember how I did that last time. Audio. No, that's not where I went. Sources? Maybe? Maybe sources? I don't know. Okay, clicking the gear on... Oh, I maybe have to highlight a source. I think it was... No, that's not it. Cancel. Gear over here. The promo boxes were pretty cool. Yeah, I really enjoyed them. I mean, and I just, you know, talked about this in a video I just filmed, but it's not out yet, obviously. But it's like, it wasn't always the greatest value. Sometimes it was amazing value. $5 for a t-shirt, $26 for a giant banner was awesome, but other months it wasn't as great. But the creativity behind it, I think, was the real value. So, advanced audio properties. Audio input captures at 100%. Nothing else is... Yeah, audio input should be the only thing. That's weird. How bad is the echo on a scale of 1 to 5? You know, when people do a radio check, they on like a CB or something, they go like radio check, and sometimes the answer would be 5 by 5. And so what that means is it's loud and clear. And so they rate your volume on a scale of 1 to 5, and then they rate your clarity on a scale of 1 to 5. So if you're coming in 5 by 5, your volume is great and your clarity is great. If you're coming in like 1 by 5, you're clear but quiet. 1.5. That's not good. My audio is at 1.5. Out of 5? No, that's not good. Or is the problem 1.5? You know, in retrospect, I probably could have phrased the question more clearly. I'm not sure that it was clear what I was asking. Move the microphone a little closer. Check my connections. 5 out of 5. So it got better? I'm just going to assume it's okay then. Just because I'm not really sure what else. Audio is great. Cool. There we go. Adjectives are fantastic. Because they're much clearer. So anyways, I've got my speakers muted and I've got my phone muted. So, anyways, yeah, the echo is so slight, most will not notice. I'll take it. Sold. Good enough for me. So anyways, yeah, I had some challenges. In April, I did the month of Fridays. And so every Friday I was trying to do a live stream. And then I did some bonus ones here and there when I found time. So it was more than like 4 or 5 in the month for sure. But there was one Friday that I missed. And part of the problem was these all started out as... I started out doing these live streams on Facebook Live in the group, Small YouTubers Boost. And the idea behind it was that... I was reminding everyone to check their channel descriptions and channel tags, I think, if I remember correctly. I was just trying to get the word out about that. And then I kind of shifted into channel reviews. And so that went on for a while, well over a year, I think. And eventually transitioned here to YouTube, and I eventually got OBS Studio, which I'm using right now. And so it kind of went through an evolution. And what happened in the last couple live streams, second to last one, I think it was, somebody came forward and made some pretty rough accusations. They said that that I was sort of I was behaving badly, at least, if not straight up violating their rights by daring to show their channel on this live stream, which is weird because they came and they asked for help and they asked for advice and they wanted a channel review. But then afterwards, they contacted me and they were upset that their channel appeared on the live stream. And I don't know how to do one without the other and not make it completely useless to everyone except the person whose channel I'm talking about, because you can't follow along. I mean, that's why I have picture in picture right now, is you can see what I'm looking at and you can kind of see me. And so I didn't get it. And the other thing is that as soon as the live stream ends, it then becomes available for rewatching, which is totally fine. But YouTube auto creates a thumbnail based on just one of the frames that it happens to pick. And it happened to pick a frame with this person's channel visible. And so he thought that I had designed the thumbnail. And he was upset because he thought that I was trying to, I don't know, host his content. And I say it at the beginning of every live stream. I'm not hosting content. I got my speakers off, so if a video plays, there'll be no sound. I'm not here to watch videos. I'm here to help people with their channels. But it got into this really big debate, and so there was talking about. Like, you know, am I violating the copyright of these channels? Would I be legally liable and susceptible to stuff? And so I'm not going to lie, that had a really chilling effect. I really wish I'd helped somebody else that day because it just kicked off this huge thing. And so, like, there are apparently some lawyers in the Facebook group, Small YouTubers Boost, and they were commenting and basically saying, like, no, like, if you continue to do these live streams, you are opening yourself up to liability, which is just bonkers to me. I mean, YouTubers should be all about trying to get themselves out there, and you know, so behaving in that particular way, it's counterintuitive to that. Hey, Jahar, am I saying that right? Jar? Is it like one syllable or is it like 2 syllables? Is it jar like jar of pickles? I don't know. Anyways, welcome. Let's see, Operation Life. What does he say here? I'm closing in on 3,000 subs. The review videos you did the past month really helped by refreshing my memory. Or you would say something that would make me go, oh crap, I need to fix that. Thank you. That's awesome. Yes, I remember. Yeah, you had contacted us and there was some amazing feedback. I really appreciated that. That was really, that was energizing. It was inspiring. That's awesome. I feel like someone if asked you to do a review, the creator has no right to scream copyright. That's what I thought too. And I mean, honestly, I've been contacted by people who wanted to do reaction videos to videos I've done on my Vacation Impossible channel. So, for example, there's this notorious video on my channel, the Six Flags video. You probably heard me talk about it before, where I got kicked off some rides at Six Flags because I had a GoPro. And it's, you know, it's a somewhat lengthy video, about 14 minutes or something. Anyway, so people were wanting to do some reactions to that because there's often strong reactions to it, because in my, like, I could have behaved better, my friend could have behaved better, the employees could have behaved way better, and so there was a lot of material there and people wanted to do reaction videos. I said, that's great, you know, just make sure that you don't, maybe don't play the video in its entirety, and you know, include a link in the description to the original video, you know, as sort of a minimum. If you did that, then I was fine with it. If I had done that and then later be like, wait, hold on, I didn't say you could use a picture of me in your thumbnail, like, it's really disingenuous, I felt. And so, you know, and the thing is like, as YouTubers, small YouTubers, big YouTubers, medium YouTubers, however you define it, I mean, we kind of want to get our names out there, right? We kind of want exposure. Now, I mean, there's that whole thing about like, oh, you can't buy lunch with exposure, you know, exposure doesn't pay the rent, and I get that. But at the same time, especially when you're small, you know, getting noticed and stuff like that, you know, you collab with people of different size, you know, you don't do everything for money. Like, there's a lot of different things that I think goes along with being a YouTuber who is, hasn't made it yet, maybe. I don't know, however you want to define that, so... let's see here. I'm super glad to be a part of this group. Hey, glad to have you here. So I assume you're in the Facebook group as well, the one with the 86,000 small YouTubers, which is a number that just boggles my mind to this day. It's absolutely amazing. Full name is Jarek Lago, but Jar's okay. Okay, cool. Because I don't want to be offensive, but I like acknowledging people in the stream. So it's a balancing act sometimes when it's a name I'm less familiar with. What can you say about YouTubers using long intros? I am not a fan. I don't even have an intro at all. I don't have an intro at Small YouTubers Boost. I don't have an intro at Vacation Impossible practically at all. I have a guy that writes music for Vacation Impossible. He's super awesome, can be. And I did ask him a while back to write some intro music for the channel. Now, one of my YouTube heroes is James Rolfe. If I could be at all like James Rolfe, then that would be amazing. And so I look at his stuff, and he's got that amazing Angry Video Game Nerd theme song. You know, he's gonna take you back to the past. Like, you know, anyone who's watched it knows it. I've seen him at Portland Retro Gaming Expo, and like the audience sings it. Like, it's the Kyle Justin who wrote that piece of music. It's absolutely amazing. It is like a television show. It's like the theme song to Cheers. Like, you know it, and that's great. And so that can carry a very long intro because it's such a great song and it's got lyrics. And every time that they run it, they have sort of a different like sort of montage that plays. Sometimes it's a bunch of fan art. Sometimes it's clips from previous episodes or a mix of the two or all sorts of different things. So the Angry Video Game Nerd can get away with a much longer intro because it is playing a song and it really works. And it's a hook and it brands the content. But a lot of YouTubers, I think, got to keep it way shorter, like 10 seconds. If you want a number, 10 seconds is my number that I think. Like, but it depends on what the intro does. If the intro is just the common, like, you know, your channel name and text in 3D bouncing around to techno music or something, some EDM, then yeah, more than 10 seconds, I think even 10 seconds might be pushing it. But if, and like what the Angry Video Game Nerd does, what James Rolfe does, is it kind of tells a story. The lyrics tell you what the character is about if you've never watched before. So it serves a functional, informative purpose. So I think an important question about if you have an intro is, what does the intro do? Is it just branding? Do you have an intro because you heard someone say you need an intro? You know, or you've seen intros and like, hey, cool, I want one too. Or was it you had a great piece of music, you wanted to use it? What is the reason that you have an intro? And if the intro is a reason for you, not the audience, then I would say make it as short as possible. But if it's helping the audience, then that's a good thing to do. Another great idea is to look at your audience retention. Wonder if I can do that here without showing anything I shouldn't. Let me just do a little behind the scenes thing here. Technically, YouTube doesn't like you to show any AdSense information in terms of the revenue you make. I'm not exactly sure how they define that, so I try to be careful navigating in Creator Studio. But I want to go find some audience retention analytics. Maybe I need to find a specific video, might be the best way to do that. Just bear with me here. Audience retention, here we go. Okay. This isn't great, but it'll kind of get the job done, and then I can filter it. So, So I'm using Creator Studio. I like the classic version because I'm old school and I'm adverse to change. It's not entirely true. But anyways, if you go into your analytics and then go down to audience retention, you can kind of see like the average viewership time. And so that can be useful because it gives you an idea of how long people are watching, but then go into a specific video. So for example, I was talking my Six Flags video. Let's go take a look at that. Kicked off the rides at Six Flags Magic Mountain. So you can see here, I'm just going to pause this. You can actually see here that like there's time coding at the bottom, and this is basically as people are dropping off, right? So it actually looks like I hold. It's interesting. It starts off at 103%. So some people are rewatching the beginning. When it goes above 100%, that's what it is people will go back and maybe rewatch part of it. And that's why it can kind of go up and down. People might skip ahead and things like that. But so basically, I lose 13% of my audience in the first 9 seconds of this video. And I made this video quite a while ago. You'll see it was published on December 20th, 2015. So, you know, I know a lot more now than I did then. In fact, that thumbnail probably really needs an update. Just looking at it. So you can kind of see what happens to your retention on individual videos. So if you're thinking about intros, you can experiment. You can have one that has a shorter intro, a longer intro, and figure out, is your audience dropping off? Are they getting bored during your intro? Are they clicking away? Are they going to a different video? And that can tell you a lot. One of the things that I think is a good idea, I've heard many times, is when you see like, when you drop below 50%, so here at 1 minute and 48 seconds is when I lose more than half the audience. So a good idea is that's the part where they're disengaging. So if you go back a little bit, like to 1 minute 39, that would be a good place to put an info card because you're about to cross the threshold of having lost half your audience. So give them somewhere else to go if this is a point where people get bored. And so if you want to get really analytical, you can dive into this and look at like individual videos, or you could just look at like the intro period, but you can play with it a little. So you can have like, you know, a 10-second intro, a 30-second intro on 2 separate videos. Go into the analytics and watch what happens during the first 10 seconds compared to the first 30 seconds. If it's steady, then your intro is holding people's interest. But it's likely to drop off. Over time, it's just going to drop off. That's the way it almost always works. But how bad of drop off? Are you okay losing 9% of your audience, 10%, 20%, 30% during your intro? What percentage is okay? Maybe having some videos up that have no intro and watch what happens to the retention there and see, is the intro doing you any favors? Is sort of my thoughts about the intro question. I'm just getting back to chat here. What's the average length of an intro for you? Yeah, like I said, I don't really do intros very much. Any tips on scripting videos? Howard Redford, welcome to the live stream. Any tips on scripting videos? That's a good question. I have some thoughts. I don't do a lot of scripted content. I have 4 years of improvisational comedy experience. I captained a team for 2 years, and we made it to the regional quarterfinals. So I'm like to think I'm very comfortable just speaking extemporaneously, like I'm doing right now in this live stream. I have no script right now. I'm just engaging with chat, answering questions. So I'm comfortable with that, but not everyone is. And sometimes I need a script. If I'm with other people and it's pre-scripted, it's rare that I do scripted content. My main channel is a travel channel, and so we just try to show you stuff and we don't really script things, but I'll do some voiceover. I'll collab with other people. I'll have some of my friends, maybe we'll do a little skit, and so for those I try to have a script. So my advice about scripting for a video is don't over script. Having a script is fine, but once the script is written, don't feel like you have to be letter perfect. Here's a good example. When the second live-action Transformers movie, Revenge of the Fallen, was coming out, it got panned by critics for a lot of different reasons. And I remember watching it and thinking that it did. I'm a huge Transformers fan, and I thought the movie had some flaws. And a lot of it felt like it came out of the dialogue. A lot of the writing of the words that were spoken felt stiff, unnatural, arguably in parts, kind of people called it racist. There's mixed feelings about that. But the thing is that when you write a script on a page and you hear it in your head, it sounds and plays out a certain way, but then people say the word. Sometimes it's just you, and you say it, and suddenly you realize it doesn't sound right once you hear it spoken, or it doesn't fit the moment or the character very well. So what I would say is definitely, like, a script is a useful thing to have, and I'm not against them by any means, but allow it to sound fluid. One thing that I find with sort of inexperienced actors, if I can say that. I don't have much experience myself, but they're really stiff, they're rigid, and they're worried about being letter perfect to the script. And so they'll be like, I am here to propose to you today. And you're like, wow, that was pretty robotic, right? But if they spoke more casually, it's like, I'm actually here to propose today. Well, I changed some of the words, right? And I didn't say I am, I said I'm. And, you know, I threw in a word because in the moment, in the character, it felt more natural, felt organic. And so I think feeling natural, feeling organic, coming across as true to whatever character it is, if you're doing a character, I think is way more important than honoring every word written by the writer. And, I mean, that may be hard. It depends on you know, who wrote it as well. Because, like, for example, if you want to talk like a famous writer like Aaron Sorkin, who I absolutely adore, he writes every character in his plays, his movies, his TV shows like a different musical instrument that come together in like a symphony. And so they have an interesting way of speaking and their own unique way of speaking. They have their own voice. And so being letter perfect to something like that, where he's aware of things like meter, you know, that could be really important. If you're Yoda, you'll want to be letter perfect, probably. But most YouTubers are just, you know, they're probably just vlogging, they're talking, or skits or personalities they're performing. I don't know that degree of attention to detail has gone into it. And that's not an insult. It's just different people write different ways. And so if I were to write something and someone were to use a contraction where I didn't, or change a word, use a synonym, something like that, if it felt more natural, I wouldn't be offended. I'd be fine with that. But it's so yeah. Like that's my main thing is like, don't let the script become a cage. Don't let it restrict what you're doing. Is probably my biggest advice. If there's something more specific about scripting videos that you're curious about, because scripting is kind of a broad topic, let me know in chat. I'll try to address maybe something a little bit more narrow or niche, but that's kind of my biggest thought is whatever you do, scripted or unscripted, make it sincere. If it's a character, if you're acting, or even if you're just talking about something you care about, be present in the moment. That is the biggest thing you can do. Like, I was rewatching some West Wing episodes, because again, I love Aaron Sorkin, just the other day, and it's one where like the president's daughter's kidnapped and stuff, and so it's a really dramatic thing. And I was thinking to myself, you know, these are amazing performances for one thing. There weren't enough Emmys nominated for those episodes. But I was also thinking about, I wonder, as an actor, are those moments the hardest to play, or are they possibly the easiest? Because you don't necessarily have to act against a green screen. You're not arguing with a tennis ball that's supposed to be a dinosaur or something. And also, it's probably just such a human, visceral moment that you have a lot of moments to play, and you're just present in the moment and feeling what the character should be feeling, and then your reactions are all natural, and it's not a trick. You don't remember you have to grimace at this moment and smirk at that moment and wink at that moment, all that stuff. It just becomes you being someone, maybe yourself, maybe someone else, but you're fully present, and you're showing your emotions, and you're just keeping it as real as you can. And I think those are the things that an audience really identifies with. And that's probably easier on the actor too. You don't have to memorize like little facial tics, you know, oh, raise the eyebrow now, as well as the lines and the blocking and everything else you might be doing. So just some thoughts on scripting there. Let's see here. Okay, great, because I make food and travel videos, and my intro is kind of like showing things I do on my channel. That's great. I mean, yeah, I have a travel channel, so we cross over a little bit there in a Venn diagram, which is nice. Always glad to be in another travel channel. Yeah, it's interesting. If the intro is showing what you do on the channel, that can be useful, but I have to ask you, is that an intro, or is that more a channel trailer? And do you have a channel trailer? I'm curious, because a channel trailer is a great way to do that. Operation Life. I usually do a 10-second intro of me describing the video. Then I have about a 20 to 30-second B-roll intro. Yeah, and I mean, hey, if that's working well with your retention, that's awesome. It can be done well, but I often find with smaller YouTubers, and it's just random sampling on my part, that it's often done kind of poorly. Like it's a black background with your channel name in green 3D font just bouncing for 30 seconds to EDM music. I like EDM music probably slightly more than the next guy, but it gets boring fast. And you're like, okay, well, you're looping this 5-second video 6 times. So, it depends. Is it visually engaging? And visually engaging means a lot of different things. Sometimes it's jump cuts, but sometimes it's other things. Sometimes it's vibrant pictures or showing things of different locations. One of the things I tried to do in my channel trailer for Vacation Impossible was show a variety of things. I show a shark. I show swimming in a water park. I show a Coast Guard rescue. I show myself in Jamaica on like a chairlift. And a bunch of other things. And so I tried to show a variety. And part of when I was picking the little video clips for this like 60-second intro, or not intro, the channel trailer, I was trying to picture things that had different colors, as well as different sceneries and stuff like that. So there's a lot of things to go into. You want to keep the audience engaged, especially really early on, which I'm really bad at in this live stream, because I start the live stream and all I do is I'm opening chat and sharing the link. And so I don't want to look at my retention for these live streams, because I could probably do a lot better at the beginning. DJ Talks, hey Ray, where you been? Great to have you back, DJ Talks. He's a frequent participator here in these live streams, and so always great to see you. Yeah, where have I been? Well, I recently went on a trip to California and Mexico. So we drove down to Seattle, flew to LAX, spent a night in LAX area, then went to Long Beach, took a 4-day cruise to Catalina and Ensenada, where I had some Mexican tacos at a side-of-the-road stand near La Bufadora. Then we came back to LA and we got Montezuma's Revenge, I think, food poisoning something. We were taken out. And so we were to have like 4 days in LA. We were so sick. We only had like a day and a half. So we did Universal Studios and we went to Griffith Observatory, but we were not able to do much else. We went to the Walk of Fame, the Chinese theater, and that's about it, because for like 48 solid hours, we were just trapped in the hotel, sick as dogs. So that kind of sucked. I tried to make the best of it. I actually coordinated while I was sick a collaboration that I just filmed on Wednesday with Angela Lynn here in downtown Vancouver, where we did a digital scavenger hunt, which was a whole lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to getting that video out. And so other than that, yeah, I've just been doing things. I got a podcast that I recorded on the trip, and I got that out, getting clips out on my channel. So, that and just, life, day job, things. Let's see here. I actually started creating videos on a Facebook page titled Fubu. That's F-O-O-B-U. Where restaurants in the Philippines would invite me to review their place, food, and price. And yet have an intro. That's cool. That's awesome. I'd love to do that. Although maybe not so much in the Philippines, just because it's so far away. And the flight would be expensive, and I don't speak the language. Thanks for the tips. I appreciate it. Glad to help. I only really just focused posting videos last October 2018. Kind of a newbie in the game. Okay. Well, that's cool. You know what I'm curious about? If it's okay with you, I'm going to take a quick look at your channel. So, disclaimer, if you speak up in chat, I might look at your channel. And it might appear here on the live stream and subsequently in a thumbnail. So, if you don't want it, say now or forever hold your peace. If you don't want to be promoted here, then I don't know why you're here. So I'm just going to quickly check out, I want to take a quick look here at your channel, if that's cool. I'm curious about a couple of things. Mariah Carey's #1 fan. Do you remind me of a friend from high school named Eric? He was a huge Mariah Carey fan. So, welcome to my channel. Okay, so you do have a channel trailer. It runs 1:16. That's good. You got a nice kind of logo there. It's interesting. It seems like you're hiding your subscriber count, which I generally caution against. I think that it's better to share your subscriber count, because I don't think anyone goes to a channel and says, oh no, only 300 subscribers, I'm not joining their journey. I don't think somebody goes to a channel and be like, wow, you already have 4,000 subscribers, you don't need me. I don't think the number really impacts the subscription decision in a bad way. But I think sometimes people will, I think it can only help. I think someone's like, oh, they don't have a lot of subscribers. This guy deserves more. I'm totally subscribing. I want to support him. I want to see him do better. I'm going to go tell my friends about him. That can happen. I've seen it happen. It's happened to me. Or, you know, it could be like, oh, hey, 3,000 people already like this guy. He must not be an amateur. I'm going to, you know, I'm going to subscribe. And like, I think that, I mean, maybe it's just me being like a Pollyanna or something. I don't know. But my basic feeling is that sharing your subscriber number is a good thing. It brings the audience into part of your journey. And, oh, hey, look, I've already watched one of your videos before. That's cool. Exploring Barcelona. I do remember watching that. Yeah, I think I commented because I want to take a cruise out of Barcelona. Cool. So anyways, actually, the reason that I came here... I actually wanted to see if you had a channel trailer, and you do, and that's nice. And then I wanted to go to Social Blade, and I want to just kind of take a look. I don't know if this will bring you up or not because your username is a little different, but we'll see. Yeah, oh, there you are. Checking you out on Social Blade. If you guys don't know about Social Blade, highly recommend it. It's free and it's useful, and it gives you some nice analytics that you might not get somewhere else. So you've only been focusing on posting videos since October of 2018. Okay, it looks like they didn't know you on Social Blade back then, because I just wanted to see what kind of well, that's unusual. Negative sub count. Negative view count. That's weird. Detailed statistics. Okay, looks like there was a correction. And you know what? This kind of thing happens. Sometimes it's a sign of something bad. Sometimes it's totally not your fault. So if it's a major subscription correction, that sometimes, I'm not saying you. I'm just trying to say like why this might happen in a hypothetical scenario. Sometimes it's people who might buy subs or participate in sub for sub, both of which is against YouTube's terms of service. So when YouTube catches wise to it, and they always do eventually, then they take the subs away or shut down the accounts. Alternatively, maybe you had a lot of people who were following you and they had their accounts shut down for whatever reason. Maybe, you know, they were doing something dodgy, or I don't know. Because it's weird to lose that many in a single day. Or it could be maybe you put out a video that was offensive or something, or you were in the news for the wrong reason. I don't know. But that's just some of the explanations there. And so losing views is a similar sort of thing where, but views, I think that like, if your sub count goes down, then it's generally legitimate. I think that that's fair. I think that the way that YouTube manages that is legitimate. So when I see that, I don't think it's a mistake. When I see views correcting, that can sometimes be a mistake. So I posted a video where I was on the Carnival Sunshine, and I was really proud of the video. It was before I was monetized. It uses music I didn't have the rights to, so it got content ID matched. I didn't care about that. But I shared it with a friend of mine who shared it with everyone in her office. And so well over 100 people watched it in like the first hour, which, as you know, probably is very important for a YouTube video success. So they all watched it. My view count went up by 100. And back then, for me, that was a lot. And I was really excited. And then I go back later and I have less than 100 views. What happened? And so the best I can come up with, and I think this makes sense. I've spoken to people. They all agree that this is probably what happened, is that because all of the views came from the same office, it was a cluster of similar IP addresses. And so YouTube saw that behavior and probably thought that it wasn't legitimate. They probably thought that it was a view farm, that I had purchased them, or something else nefarious was going on. But because it was all a very similar range of IPs, I think they took the views away and deemed them to be illegitimate, even though they were legitimate. They were people, individuals watching them on separate machines, enjoying it. I got a lot of positive feedback from those people. So they were legitimate views, but they got taken away from me. And yeah, I was a little sour about it. And to this day, I'm a little pissed, not gonna lie. A little salty about it. But at the same time, I understand that YouTube's a giant entity and they need automation to make things work. And I'm definitely against, you know, buying views and things like that. So I think I got unfairly captured by that. So when I see a view correction, sometimes I'm like, maybe they did something dodgy. Maybe they just got screwed, you know, and that's fine. And you know what, whatever it was, we're all on a journey of learning. And so, you know, we in the Facebook group, for example, we have rule number 1, no sub for sub. And so sometimes someone will come along and they might be doing that, and we might ban them, because banning is what we do when people do that. But then they'll come back afterwards like, oh my God, I had no idea it was against the rules. I'm so sorry. Can I come back if I stop that? And I always say yes, because it's all about the growth and the learning. So if they stop it and, they remove the subscriptions that weren't legitimate themselves, and, they've learned their lesson, because, maybe they thought, hey, I'm just going to help some people and maybe they'll help me. I'm asking for support. I'm giving nothing in return. I can understand where that comes from if they don't know that it's against the rules. And so if it's all about, like, if they're sincere and they're all about, okay, now I've learned that and now I can be a better YouTuber, then I've done my job. Then the group has done its job. That's what I would love for the group to do, is to help people be better at YouTube and to learn what they need to know to be successful, get their message out there. So anyways, that's just kind of interesting. I was just kind of showing off a little bit of Social Blade. But looks like, let's go back to the general summary. So not a lot of subscription growth over the last couple of weeks, but I am seeing, averaging 111 views a day as an average, which is pretty good. It's not quite as good as the channel you're watching right now, so that's cool. Let me just get back into chat and see what people are talking about. Where was I? I research a lot about my travels so I can write a very informative script. I think research is vital whatever your video is about. Yeah, I think that's a good approach. I don't always do that approach myself. For my travel channel, it's experiential, so I try to tell you what my experience was. I went there, this happened, I learned that. And so sometimes I do some research. For example, we got a lot of questions on my travel channel about, is Cozumel safe? So I talked about my personal experiences, but I also did some research about the crime rates in Cozumel and what kind of crime was common. For the record, pickpocketing is a problem, but there's like no violent crime because it's an island off the coast of Mexico. So it's actually super safe. Just watch your wallet and you should be good. So, and I didn't know that when I first went there. I first went there and I'm walking through like we were trying to find this restaurant that somebody in my group wanted to go to. And we were walking through what felt like a really rundown, dodgy part of town. And I was like afraid for my life. And afterwards I did the research and now I feel so foolish for having felt that way. And so I do balance it a little bit, but it's largely, for me, experiential. But research is great. One thing about writing a script and doing research is you've got that text down, and you have a very high character limit on a description for a video. So you could take some of that content, you could copy and paste it straight out, or you could use it as a baseline for writing a very, kind of like almost like a blog post in your description. And the good thing about that is it gives a lot of data for the algorithm to chew up for SEO. And so that could be another thing about scripts, is you could repurpose some of the content for your description, which would help with keyword alignment as well, because if you say the word in the video, YouTube can hear it. YouTube has auto captioning. And so if you say it, Google will know you said it, assuming it heard you right. Sometimes the auto captioning can be pretty funny in how it's wrong. So I recommend going in and correcting it so you have proper captions, but that's part of it. What you say. Then if what you say also appears in the title, and it also appears in the description, and it also appears in the tags, and that word or phrase also comes up in the comments, then hot damn, you have keyword alignment, my friend. And that's when the algorithm is like, well, this video is definitely about that. And so it will promote your video. When promote's maybe not the right word. Your video will appear much higher in search results. And it will promote in the sense that you're more likely to get it as a recommended as people watch other videos on a similar topic. Sorry, I'm just getting a Tums. Not sponsored. Would love to be sponsored. But anyways, so, and so a script can help you stay on message, to use a political term, as well. And it depends on the style that you go for and the kind of person you are and what you're comfortable doing. And so, that can be great though. The research can add a lot of value, and that's a really good thing. I really respect people who do that quite a bit. Thanks, Ray. We'll try your suggestion. Awesome. Howard, with my travel videos, I research a lot about my travels so I can write a very informative script. I think, oh yeah, I already said that. Next Friday, I'm trying something I've seen other creators do, says DJ Talks. What are you going to do? Or, hey, if it's a surprise, like, don't feel like you need to spoil it, but you've intrigued me. I am curious. What's your travel channel, Ray? Would love to check it out. It is called Vacation Impossible. Ooh, opportunity to plug my channel. Gotta love that. Let me throw it up for you. I give myself permission to share my other channel. There we go. There's Vacation Impossible in its current state. Just got a new video out today, mistakes first-time cruisers make. So that's doing okay. I was hoping it would do better. It's only gotten like 32 views. I was hoping like it could get a bit better, but it might be a slow burn. I think over time that'll get views. I think it's pretty searchable. That's my hope. Let's see here. I'm a newbie on YouTube. Go check it out. Yes. I'm hunting my sub just because of what you just said earlier, but okay, we'll reveal it the next day. Cool. I hope I'm right. But no, I think that's a good way to go. Oh, DJ Talks, thanks for mentioning my channel name. I appreciate it. I lost those subs when I applied for the monetization, and they tracked those sub to sub I did before and deleted it all. Lesson learned, never did sub to sub ever. That's the thing, too, and it's frustrating because those sub for subbers, they're out there, man. They're like a virus. And so they'll come along and they'll kind of mess with the analytics on either of my channels. Sometimes someone will, more so here on Small YouTubers Boost. But yeah, they'll come and they'll subscribe and then they'll comment on a video and be like, oh, I'm sub number 132, sub me back, bro. And I just like, ugh. And so I've got my two channels and I take a different approach to those comments. I don't ever do sub for sub. I've never done it. I refuse to do it because it's against the rules. And, you know, if that's good enough of a reason. I could go on, but that's a good enough of a reason. You know, it's fraud, et cetera, et cetera. What I would do is the comments, how you handle the comments, the sub for sub comments. That's a good question, I think. What I do on my Vacation Impossible channel, which I have up here, I'm a little desperate for it to be successful. I'm not gonna lie. I very much want it to be successful. It's my passion. I love it. And so comments are good, and YouTube can't tell a good comment from a bad comment. So if someone were to comment something like that on Vacation Impossible, I would give it a dislike on the comment and not reply, but I would leave it. That's what I would do. Because I want to have the comments. Algo, want to be successful. On Small YouTubers Boost, it's a little different. On this channel here that I'm broadcasting on right now, we want people to come to us as a place to learn and do YouTube better, hopefully. And if I have people in the comments advocating things that will get your channel shut down, that's not good for you. So for those people, and take note, if you are one of those people, I will report you. I will report your ass. Because it's fraud. It's against the rules. And as somebody who on this channel is trying to show people how to be successful and follow the rules at the same time, I don't allow those comments to remain. So I will report them to YouTube so the comment disappears, and as well, maybe YouTube investigates that person for spam or TOS violations. Sorry, not sorry. Thanks, already subbed. Thanks, man. That's awesome. I appreciate it. I'm going to put my video opening before my intro. Cool. See how that works. Test it out. Experiment a little bit. It's not a bad idea. Oh, going to sleep. Oh, you're in Spain. That's awesome. Good night, man. Thanks for tuning in. That's awesome. Yeah, there's this other creator from Spain. What's his name? It escapes me at the moment. But he is super. He's got this great, amazing story. He was homeless in Spain, but he had a laptop with a webcam. And through YouTube, he was able to basically make enough income to no longer be homeless. And he's actually a very successful YouTuber now. And he has a Facebook group that I joined, and he gave me my first moderator gig on Facebook group. So that was very nice of him, and I can't believe I'm blanking on his name right now. You know what? I'm just going to go find his group. I actually demodded myself in... wait, hold on. No, I'm not going to do it that way. Gotta be mindful of privacy. Yeah, he kind of gave me my first shot at that, and it was great. But I did demod myself just because Small YouTubers Boost, the Facebook group, keeps me so busy that I kind of had to make a tough choice there. So it wasn't easy, but Heathcliff. But his channel name is... Oh, what is it? Lion's Den. That's what it's called. Lion's Den. I remember now. So anyways, yeah, he's got an amazing story. He does start a conspiracy videos, so I think he's had some issues with demonetization and stuff of late, but still, it's an amazing story about YouTube, like, making someone's life better. And so I think stories like that, they get to me. I just love that stuff. I think it's great. Operation Life. I may be a little strict on my comments. I delete a lot of them. Yeah, that was a difficult choice that I had to make early on because It was like, I remember my Six Flags video. Some of the first comments I got was like, you're the worst kind of person. You need to be sterilized. Your children need to be murdered. You need to be killed. A whole bunch of stuff like that. You should be banned from amusement parks for life. You're a big fat liar. You're an idiot. All this kind of stuff. And so when I started getting those comments, I know what I should have been thinking was like, wow, that's really offensive, or oh, I should be afraid. What if this person tries to do something? But what I was thinking was, looks like we made it. I had my first hate comments. I had my first trolls. I'm like, this is an important milestone in my YouTube life. I think I think that kind of reaction is the sign of somebody like, are they cut out for YouTube? I like to think that I am. Partly because like that was my reaction. I didn't get in there and I was like, F you, buddy. You don't know what you're talking about. And so for the troll comments, I take an interesting approach. Because again, YouTube can't tell a good comment from a bad comment. And so trolls, for me, are fuel. I grind them up and make them fuel. So what do I do? Because one thing about a lot of the trolls, or maybe they're just angry people or people have a different view. I don't want to totally judge. But a thing about, people that we consider to be trolls is that they have to get the last word. They need to get the last word. And I'm going to use that. And I'm going to use that to my advantage. And I'm going to totally pimp them out for comments and views and watch time. So how does that work? Someone says like, you suck. And so I might respond with, always great to meet a fan. Smiley face, winky, something. And then they come back, I'm not a fan, you idiot. Can't you read? Oh, I can totally read. Well, it doesn't look like you can read, stupid. And it's like, oh, well, thank you for, And so I would maybe egg them on a little bit. Now, there is an art to it. Because your other viewers and fans and commenters might be seeing these interactions. So you don't want to be a total a-hole. And sometimes there's just nothing to work with. Or sometimes it's just too extreme. You should be killed. Okay, I'm going to thumbs down, but I'll leave it. And maybe other people will, comment and come to my defense. They do, they don't, whatever. Want to build a community. But if it's something like, the Six Flags thing, they're like, hey, stupid, it takes 2 seconds on their website to find out you can't have a GoPro. I'd be like, well, this video was shot in like November of 2014 or whenever the heck we shot it, and back then they had nothing on the website. And then they would come back with, well, it's still, whatever, stupid and whatever. And so like maybe there'd be a little back and forth. And if it gets to a point where it's just nothing I can work with, nothing good at all, yeah, okay. Then I would thumbs down that comment and then stop replying. But if it's maybe I needle them a little bit, I poke the penguin just a little bit, and then they come back. And every time they come back, it's potentially another view. The video could be running while they're typing out their comment, giving you more watch time. And again, a comment is an interaction. So trolls are stressful depending on how you take it. And there were times where I would get like, a notification. Oh, somebody commented, and I was. Okay, deep breath. That was hurtful, And so it's like if you're feeling a reaction to it that's affecting you in a negative, emotional, mental way, then it's time to put it aside and take a break from it and put it in its proper context and maybe go back to it later or just ignore it forever. So I don't know. But you got to manage your own mental health and stuff like that too. I mean, if playing with the trolls, if poking the trolls is going to be bad for you and your mental health and your happiness, then it's not worth it. But yeah, I find that if you think of them as like, this guy is trying to hurt me and he's going to help me, then that's a little different, I think. And so, that for me, it's like, I love the trolls because I use the trolls. And, maybe it's not the right approach. Maybe it is. I don't know. But of course, obviously you prefer, the lovely comments. I have a video of James Darren, a concert of his from like, years and years ago in Vegas. And I get lovely comments on that. People are like, oh, thanks for sharing this. Oh, it's so wonderful. Does he still perform? I'll go and be like, here's his tour dates for next year, And so it's funny because I'll get like, I used to get an email and now I get notifications in Creator Studio, but an email would come in on my phone and it would be like, oh, you've got a comment on YouTube. And I'm like, okay, what does it say? How bad is it? And then it would say, like, in the subject line, it would be like, oh, on James Darren. I'm like, oh, nice. Okay, this is going to brighten my day. Or like, comment on Six Flags. You know what? Not in a great space right now. I'm going to read this later. I'm going to have dinner and then read it. I'm going to, I'll read it when I'm in the right headspace. And actually, I manage my Facebook Messenger much the same way. So if you do try to reach me on Facebook Messenger, I apologize, but it's sorry. Speaking of messages, I'm just getting some messages here. But as the administrator of a small YouTubers group with 86,000 small YouTubers, I get tons and tons and tons of Facebook messages. And some of them are great and some of them are not. There's people who are like, oh, this person messaged me this inappropriate thing. Can you do something? And I'm happy to help. I don't get me wrong. They're not fun, but I do want to get those messages because I want to stop the bad behavior in the group. Nobody should be in the group to be harassed, for example. People think that doing a private message sub for sub is going to get them, like, get a free pass. No, we will catch you. It just takes time. But that generates some work for me. So if I don't have time to deal with it, I'm not going to read the message at that moment. So I try to titrate my consumption of Facebook Messenger. And sometimes it's like, hey, collab opportunity, or hey, we want to sponsor you, or hey, can we, do something like this? And so there's good things too. There's also a lot of just needy people who are like, review my channel now, make my channel popular, boost my channel. Your group has the word boost in it. You must do something for me right now. Or, hey, I've got a million questions about YouTube. Can you just teach me one-on-one in chat? And I'm like, that's a great question for the group. Go ask the group. Stuff like that. And some of it's just like, hey, you know what? I broke the rules and you did a thing because I broke the rules and now you're an a-hole and I'm threatening you. I get a lot of that too. And so I choose my time when I sit down and, I for the longest time I didn't have Messenger on my phone for that reason. And so generally, I'll sit down when I'm in the right headspace and I have the right amount of time, and I'll go through my messages. And so sometimes it's like someone, oh, I got muted for 24 hours. The message is from Tuesday. It's Friday. I'm like, oh, it has passed. It's in the past. There's nothing I can do about it now. And then there's other stuff where like, oh, this person sent me a message. I find out they've already been banned by a moderator, so it's already taken care of. Maybe it's not, and I take action. So I think that for whatever size your channel is, control your intake of certain things. And so if there's a video that always gets hate and you see that you got a comment on that video, maybe wait until you're in a good headspace, because the response you have is going to be potentially seen by other people as well. And so if you just go into a flame war and, you call everybody a Nazi or something and you just go off the deep end, whether they deserve it or not, it might not make a good impression on your other viewers and commenters, readers, whatever. And so if you want to create any kind of a community, that's something that's good to be aware of. And so it kind of serves a dual purpose. The dual purpose of hopefully keeping your mental health, in a good place and, allow you to continue to be happy and don't let one commenter on the internet ruin your day. And at the same time, when you approach it that particular way and people see it and you're conscious of it, I think that helps build a community. And people say like, oh, this guy was being threatened with murder and he responded very politely. Kudos. He kept his cool, something like that. Or, he came back and was very funny with his insult. Whatever your audience and style is. Somebody was... Okay, vacation planning messages. Sorry, dual roles. I'm wearing multiple hats. I was also mentioned by somebody who says, like, what were they referencing specifically about my liability with regards to channels appearing on the live stream? They were non-specific. And these are the people who said that they were lawyers. We're like, yeah, you put yourself up to liability. I'm like, what kind? And they're like, well, it might be slander, it might be libel, it might be copyright infringement, it might be this, it depends on your region and all this kind of stuff, but you're definitely not protected. It's like, you don't know what crime I'm committing, but I definitely committed one. Anyways. Let's see, what do we got here? Which means I say, hey guys, hope you have a wonderful day. Delete on trolls suck. I'm lucky I don't have trolls yet, but I have students. That's cool. And that's one of the things I love. I love sharing information. I love training. I love mentoring people. And so that's one of the things that I really enjoy about these live streams as well. Is it's kind of another opportunity for me to do stuff like that, flex that muscle, learn a bit. But yeah. And also people in the Facebook group pretending, well, not pretending, but potentially pretending they say they're a lawyer, but I don't know. I should probably be careful about how much, credence I give to that stuff. But, yeah. So, but at the same time, I don't want to create, again, a community where people think, oh, don't go to small YouTubers' booths, they'll steal your content. Like, it's never my intention. I've never done a thing to try and do that. I try to be very upfront about what I'm up to. Let's see here. As of about a week ago, I started just allowing everything. I've noticed a lot of my wonderful subs bash them for me. That's a little bit fun. I was a cashier at a grocery store for 3 or 4 years as I was putting myself through university, college and university, and there would be the odd abusive customer. And when it would happen, maybe it's because I'm in Canada, I don't know, but 3 out of every 4 times, someone else in the vicinity, another customer, would tell them that they were out of line, would come to my defense. And it's great because, like, whatever I'm going to say is going to seem self-serving because I'm defending myself against an attack or poor behavior. And so that can be tricky to do with grace in class and not just sound like you're running scared or whining or I don't know what. But when a third-party observer who has no dog in that fight steps forward and says, whoa, hold on, then that's touching, to be honest. It's helpful. It means a lot. And so, yeah, that does happen a little bit in my comment section sometimes too. I've been getting a lot of hate lately. The Six Flags video has petered out. It hasn't gotten a lot of views in ages. But it's, yeah. And one thing that I am noticing over time is that if you can call it a community, or the regular viewers and commenters on Vacation Impossible, they're generally super lovely. They're really supportive. They're super nice. Sometimes they point out things where they disagree with me or they think I missed a point, but they do it in a really collaborative, professional, friendly way. And I'm so grateful for that. I wish I could take credit for it. I don't think that would be fair. But one way or another, I've gotten to that place. And so I think that that's kind of cool. It's nice when you can have that kind of support. Let's see here. I'm really strict about the cussing. Not sure why exactly, since I cuss when off camera. I can understand that. DJ Talk says I block cursing to be family friendly. I do the same case by case, and that's the only reason sort of family friendly. Yeah, that's something I think about. Like when I started my audio podcast, Vacation Impossible podcast, when you sign up for iTunes, you have to indicate whether or not there's any explicit words. And I did say explicit just because I was concerned that I might forget to edit something out. Or that maybe I decide to or want to leave something in for effect at some point. Or maybe it's a direct quote, whatever it is. So I marked my podcast as explicit. I hope that's not holding me back. But at the same time, for a travel podcast, I think it's mostly the adults will be the audience, I think. And the demographics on my YouTube channel indicate that it's sort of people in their 30s and 40s that watch my channel the most. So I think I'm probably okay there. But yeah, cussing is an interesting question because it is one of the things that can make you be deemed not advertiser friendly. To one degree or another on YouTube or other platforms. It could scare off a potential sponsor because it limits and restricts the audience, and it, they might not want their brand associated with, sailor talk, whatever you want to call it, salty language, cursing, swearing, what have you. But at the same time, there is an art to these things. And are you neutering your art? Might be overstating things, but are you neutering your art to keep it family friendly? It's a choice we all have to make on our own merits, and I would never really judge another person based on that. I do sometimes, every day, one thing I try to do is I try to take 20 minutes out of every day, and in the Small YouTubers Boost Facebook group, I will just go and watch random videos that have been posted. And whenever possible, I will try to provide feedback if I can think of something that's constructive. And so sometimes the constructive feedback I say is like, the level of swearing made me uncomfortable. Because sometimes it is. It's like so much swearing right off the bat. I don't know you. I don't know what you're about. I watched your video for the first time, and you're just so angry, and I don't even know why. To me, that can at times be off-putting. But I love the angry video game nerd, and he swears plenty. So, I think that there's an art to it as well, and there's taste. And so there's no, I don't think there's any rule to follow. I think decide for yourself and try to be consistent in your application of whether or not you will allow it either in your videos or the comments. But I think that's generally sort of a good approach. One thought about criticism and feedback that I want to, I've developed this theory and I kind of want to share it with the world because I think it's useful for people to understand this. Because I've grown to understand this over years. I've kind of been building this theory. What makes criticism constructive? How can you tell constructive from destructive criticism? I believe there are 3 components. Number 1, it has to be specific. You suck. Not specific. The colors in your logo suck. Oh, hey, that's specific. Thank you. Okay. You're getting better. Still not constructive yet. You've got one of the 3 pieces you need to be constructive. The second piece is just as vital, if not more vital. It needs to be prescriptive in some way. It needs to contain a suggestion, advice, something. So, for example, I say, hey, I think you're swearing a little too much. So there's advice there. The advice is you could reduce the rate of swearing. If someone says, hey man, your logo sucks, it should be blue. Okay, there you go. It's now gone from not just being specific, but it's also prescriptive. It gives you some advice. Okay, maybe I should play around in Photoshop. Try it with blue, maybe. Maybe the guy's right. I don't know. But there's the third piece, which I want to tag on to it, and that is you can't expect anything in return. I told you your logo sucks and should be blue. Where's my money? Bad example. I'm exaggerating. A more likely, and this has actually happened to me. Dude, your logo sucks. You suck at Photoshop. It looks like you made it in Word. You're a total amateur. It really should be blue. And I told you this a week ago, and you haven't changed it. Well, I think constructive criticism needs to come from a place of selflessness. Maybe you want to see the person succeed. Maybe it would be nice if you get something in return. But it needs to come from a place of selflessness. Because it's not about getting paid for your advice. It's not about them doing what you tell them. It's not, I'm instructing you, I'm your boss. I have told you to do X, you must do it the way I say. It needs to come from a place of selflessness. So it needs to be specific, prescriptive, and selfless. So yeah, okay, guy told me my logo should be blue because it sucks. I asked some other people. They all think that, blue is a bad color for it. I played around with it. I couldn't make it work in a way that worked for me, so I chose not to do it. That doesn't mean I'm disrespecting the person. If you get constructive feedback and it meets those 3 criteria, notice that I didn't say it has to be nice. You could still be told, you suck about this specific thing, and here's how you suck less. That can still have value. I don't like receiving it that way, but I can still appreciate it and maybe use it. So it doesn't necessarily have to be nice. But also, like, I told you, you didn't fix it. Well, you're expecting me to do a thing. I never promised to you that I would do whatever you tell me to do. You're one voice among many. And as creators, we generally get the final say. So that's just my little rant about constructive criticism. But I do want to tell the world because, I think that we'll all be better off. If we're pissed about something and we genuinely want it to be better, if we can hit those 3 notes in our complaint, then maybe it will become better. Because sometimes, and that's the other thing too, is like, if you don't fix this in 3 days, I'm unsubscribing. Don't issue an ultimatum. Don't threaten people. Frankly, if somebody said that to me, I'd just want to not do it because screw you. So I think that it will be more effective if we hit those 3 notes. And I try to remind myself of that too, because sometimes I'm not great at it, or sometimes I don't say it as clearly as possible. Like, one thing I find with small YouTubers a lot, and I'm as guilty of this as anyone else, but their audio levels are often all over the place throughout a video. They'll have sound effects. It'll be super loud. Or, hey, we were talking intros earlier, right? And I'll have an intro that is super loud, and then they'll be talking so quietly. It's like an ASMR video that has super loud intro music. Like, oh, ow. I'm like constantly playing with the volume on my speakers or my phone or whatever I'm listening on my tablet. And it's like, don't make people do that, right? So I might comment, I might say, I found your volume all over the place. I'm like, well, what the hell does that mean? And so sometimes I need to explain it a bit better. The sound effects were very loud, the speaking was very quiet. Something like that. And I try to remember to be, being nice is like maybe the 4th good to have for constructive criticism. Achilles Melee asked if he provided constructive criticism. I think so, because he's given me a lot of advice over the last while, and no, it was great. Like, sometimes I ignored it, didn't follow it, and he never got upset. He might follow up, and so that's good. Because that's the thing about like taking like a coaching approach to someone is, you might help them come to their own plan, and then you hold them accountable and say, how's the plan going? One of the things that Amnesty International says is that sometimes all it takes to stop an atrocity is if the people committing it know that somebody's watching. And so being held accountable and not saying like, if you don't do it, you owe me $10, or you're a jerk because you didn't follow my advice. I'm not saying that, but just the follow-up. Someone saying, oh, hey, you said you were going to create a channel trailer. How's that coming along? Little things like that, they can actually be hugely motivating. It shows that you care. It shows to the other person that someone's paying attention and cares and reminds them
And so it holds them accountable, not even necessarily to another person, but to themselves. Because if you do it right, they made the commitment to make the channel trailer. You didn't demand it of them and they acquiesced. Hopefully. I mean, again, I don't follow my own rules here. Sometimes I just like, yeah, freaking do it. Let me fix you. But it's, yeah. And so it's, you know, and might feel like bugging and pestering and nagging. And, you know, there's a balance to be struck. You want to respect the person and not totally make yourself obnoxious. Not totally obnoxious, I'm a little obnoxious. But, you know, there's ways of doing this really supportive. And it can make a big difference. And so that's... and that can be a good thing. Just want to try and do it respectfully, of course. Let's see here. A general overview of my channel. DJ Talks. I've looked at your channel before, but it has been a while. Well, frankly, it's been a few months since I've reviewed anybody's channel, so let's go take a peek. Let's go see what's happening with DJ Talks. I do like that profile picture. I know I've said that before, but it's true. It's a nice smile. Reminds me of a guy I went to high school with. I know I said that before, but, you know. Okay, got a channel trailer. 29 seconds. That's pretty good. Cartoon reviews. Braceface. I'm unfamiliar with that cartoon. Transformers. Fellow Transformers fan. What'd you think of Bumblebee? I liked Bumblebee a lot. That was, I thought that was a great film. The beginning. It was like in the first 5 seconds. I was like, oh, this is perfect. DJ Talks, is that a website, djtalks.me? Because it looks like it is. Oh, well, actually, you've got a link. Yeah, no, it is. It's your website link. Okay, that's kind of cool. New videos 5 days a week. Wow, that is an intense production schedule. That's impressive. Yeah, no, this is looking pretty good. Friends of the channel. It looks like the box that you would activate where YouTube controls recommending other channels is not activated. Highly, highly recommend you turn that thing on. In my personal experience, YouTube will punish you for not having that box activated. So I would go in, you know, click edit channel. There should be like add. I forget what it's called. But yeah, to turn that on. Otherwise, I think the algorithm will punish you. I say punish. I mean like it won't recommend your content as much. That's been my experience. I can't guarantee it, but it's the story I've told before about my Six Flags video where it was doing great. I accidentally, for like 2 seconds, disabled that box because I clicked on the wrong thing. I re-enabled it, and like I swear to God, the video never got recommended again. It could be completely unrelated. It could be a coincidence, but it really doesn't feel that way. So let's see here. I've got TubeBuddy installed. If you don't know what TubeBuddy is, it's a browser plugin website and app that helps you manage your channel. I got it in August, and it got me across the monetization finish line. It is amazing. I highly recommend it. There's an affiliate link down below. Video's not sponsored, but it is an affiliate link. And so I have the browser plugin here with a legendary account. Now, if I'm going to ever tell you about a product, whether I'm sponsored or it's affiliate link or it's just me talking about a thing I like, I'm going to tell you the truth. So if you're looking to for me to sponsor something, I'm going to tell the truth, so watch out. And so in this case, talking about TubeBuddy, TubeBuddy is wonderful. I love it to pieces. I wouldn't know what to do without it. It's not perfect. And one of the problems is under Channelytics, it starts off on the subscriber page, and this thing never frickin' loads. But if you toggle over to views and then back to subscribers, then it loads. So there you go. It's the truth and how to get around the problem. So just taking a look at the Channelytics here. One thing I'm noticing, and it's super minor and unimportant, but there is, you know, DJ Talks. I notice that sometimes the J in DJ is capitalized and other times it's not. Super minor, super minor. But I would recommend trying to have that consistent because it starts to look like branding, even in text. So, for example, I am a huge Hootie and the Blowfish fan. I know I get onto random topics here. I think I have. Do I have one of their albums handy? It's always good to have a prop if you can have a prop when you're doing something. Like, okay, here you go. My bona fides. This is the single for "Be the One," which is I think the first single off of Fairweather Johnson. The cover of it looks a lot like Fairweather Johnson, but it's actually the single. So that's how much of a fan I am. Yeah, it's a CD. I recently purged most of my physical media because I'm looking to upgrade my computer, and getting another DVD-ROM is just like, it's an extra $400. It's not like the 90s. I'm not doing that. But I just couldn't get rid of my Hootie and the Blowfish albums. Why the hell am I talking about this? There's a reason. for fans of the band who are like hardcore like I am, they know that whenever the band's name is written, it is Hootie ampersand the Blowfish. It is the ampersand sign. It is not the word and, A-N-D. So when you see someone typing out the word and, as a super fan, maybe I get a little judgy because I geek out on them pretty hard. I geek out on them pretty hard. But it's like I know if I were to go to a website and I'm like, oh, is this their website, or is it like a third-party fan site, or is it, whatever? One of the first things I look for is the ampersand. Because they are super consistent all the time. Everywhere they put their band name, it's always ampersand. It is never and. And so it becomes part of their brand and their style, and it's a consistent look. And so maybe most people don't care. I don't know. But that's also partly how, like, again, I've talked about this before, but let's say you become an overnight success. The scenario I say is like, Jimmy Kimmel or John Oliver or somebody mentions you on Twitter or on their show or something, and you blow up while you're sleeping. And you wake up and you've got 1 million subscribers and tons of fans, and you're all over the internet. And so suddenly you're a brand. Suddenly you're professional. Suddenly there's huge value behind your name. And so one of the things that could happen is there could be imposters. Because if there's value to it, there's money there, and someone's going to want to take that money potentially. It sucks, but it's kind of true. We've experienced it with Small YouTubers Boost. It's not that hard to find imposter groups on Facebook. Some of them have well over 10,000 members. It's crazy. I'm not thrilled about it. I don't like it. But I also acknowledge that in a free and open internet, there's not much I can do about it. So all I can do is keep doing what I do. We became a success. They're trying to ride our coattails. We just got to keep being us. And if they want to do it and wear a funny hat and have different rules or whatever, that's fine. What I really hate, and this is not totally relevant, but what I really hate is when people tag me because those other groups misbehave. I'll get messaged on Facebook Messenger, and they'll be like, why did I get kicked out of your group? I'm like, you're not kicked out of my group, dude. You're right there. And he's just like, no, I totally got... And I find out, oh, he got kicked out of the imposter group. Well, that's not me. Don't waste my time with this. And when it happens, these people always start off like hard. They'll be like swearing in their very first message. It's never a polite like, "Hey Ray, I've got a question." It's like, "Hey a-hole, why'd you do that?" I'm like, "I'm not even in this group you're talking about." So I mean that's a little frustrating. But anyways, the point is, how are some of the ways that you can own yourself and your channel and your brand as an entity and have control over it? And so some of that is actually a consistency of look. And so caring about those little details. Another way of looking at it is we know that getting verified on YouTube is now based on your subscriber count, which, mixed feelings. But on other platforms, it's a little less opaque a process. We're not exactly sure how it works on Twitter. On Instagram, you can submit a request to be verified, but if you're not verified, you don't get a notification. They don't tell you they've reviewed you. They don't tell you why you didn't get it. And so it's been a mystery on a lot of different social media platforms, and new ones are cropping up all the time. Have you heard of Vero? I've been using that on my phone. I like it more than Snapchat, but there's not a lot of people, not a huge amount of people on it, but I'm starting to get some traction there, which is kind of excited. I'm kind of excited about. But anyways, but whether you get that important blue, white, whatever check mark, gray check mark, whatever it is on the different social media platform, outside of YouTube, a lot of these places look at your whole web presence. So they will Google your name and they will see what comes up. They will see if your account is linked to other social media accounts. And some of the things that they look for when they do this is a consistency of branding. Are you using the same color scheme? Are you using the same logo? Is it a picture of your face or something like that consistently across? And they see, oh, you're on LinkedIn and all these other things. So this is probably you. You're professional. You got a consistent look. We are more likely to get you that verified checkmark. Again, not on YouTube, but on the other things outside of YouTube. So having things like consistently how you capitalize parts of your name is important for identifiable, authenticity in your brand, things like that, protecting your brand. It's interesting because, for example, I am on social media when I'm not part of Small YouTubers Boost, when I'm not part of Vacation Possible, when I'm just ranting about politics or whatever. I'm Cowman. And I've been Cowman since the 90s, and so I have this kind of stupid capitalization thing. Capital C, lowercase w, lowercase o, capital W, lowercase m, capital A, lowercase n. It's a little silly, but people know when they find the real me, the real cowman, if you will, because it's a relatively common enough thing. A lot of farmers call themselves that. So like I've had to add an X on the end on certain social media accounts and stuff like that. So like, is this the real, like, is this the cowman I know? And they look for that capitalization. That's one of the ways they know whether it's truly me. When I appear on the Mario Marathon as a participant, which I've done the last 2 years, I'm known as Cowman. And so that's all part of that. I'm not Vacation Impossible. They don't call, like, that's the name of my channel, my ensemble travel group. If people want to call me that, that's fine, but that's not generally what I'm known as. And so those are different ways. Like Vacation Impossible, I generally capitalize the V and the I. Little things like that. So I spent a lot of time on a totally unimportant little thing, but I've already talked about your channel before, so I was trying to find something new to maybe give you some advice on. You've got some good tags here, which is pretty good. And you got, lots of social media, which is good. A little inconsistent on whether or not those are capitalized, but that's okay. Reddit even, so that's cool. So subscriber growth has been... yeah, your subscriber growth is pretty steady. That's good. You had a pretty good day on May 16th. That's not bad. Looking at your views, looks like something might have happened between May 25th and 29th. So, but relatively steady, sort of mid to high 20s in the latter half of the month. Videos. So yeah, you do your production schedule, man. That is impressive. And again, I'm sure I've mentioned this before, but just trying to level out the peaks and valleys if at all possible. So it's 1 video per day, I think will work better in the algorithm for you. But I mean, okay, you had a couple days with 2, and they were generally immediately following or near to a day with none. So it kind of averages out. But for the algorithm, for maximum algorithmic advantage, I do recommend no more than 1 a day. If you can smooth it out to get as close to 1 a day, then that's good. For the other people watching who can't maintain a production schedule, like 5 videos a week, which is, wow, impressive, then, 1 a week is solid. 1 a week is sufficient to continue to have some pretty good algorithmic advantage. Less than 1 a week is where it gets a little dicey with the algorithm, so that's just something to think about. But if you have to sacrifice quality for frequency, I don't know that it's worth it. It's a choice we all have to make as creators. So anyways, I think that's, I think you're doing pretty good here. So yeah, I mean, one thing that I would think of is just the picture of you on the banner. If you could zoom in on that a little bit more, because it kind of artificially crops at your chest level. And if that line could line up at the bottom of the banner, although again, different resolutions, it'll look different, but I think that would look a little better. But otherwise, I think it's pretty good. I think you're doing all right. I think your thumbnails, you might want to consider on some of them adding a little bit of text so that people can visually understand what it's about. Particularly in this row here of your recent uploads, there seems to be quite a bit of space in the top right-hand corner where you could probably put a little bit of text or an image of some kind. Even if it's just a word or two, that would distinguish one from the other, and you would have people at a glance would have a better sense of the subject matter, maybe a little bit more likely to click. If it was something that added a bit more color to the image, then it would also maybe draw the eye a bit more, like if it was red or something. That's just a thought. And yeah, the description's pretty good. One of the things I often talk about is try to, maybe in the second paragraph, maybe talk a little bit about why you do what you do. Because you explain what you do very well. But why? Why do you take the time? Why do you put in the time to manage a production schedule 5 days a week? That takes effort, that takes commitment. You're doing very well at it, but what drives you? And talking about that a little bit. Is it about connecting with people? Is it about inspiring people? Is it about sharing the things you love? Is it about giving people a deeper understanding and appreciation of, cartoons and comics and things that you care about, TV shows, whatever, so that people can maybe identify on an emotional level? I think is not a bad idea. But by and large, I think you're doing a lot of stuff right here. I'm gonna hop over to chat and see what I've been missing. Bad audio is much worse than bad video. Yeah, I've read a lot about that. I haven't really formed my own opinion that much, but I think I probably agree, which is funny because I don't focus on audio as much as I should for my own channels. But I mean, I've learned a bit for the podcast, but beyond that, I could do better. I've got like 6 lav mics, haven't tried them out yet. Don't know how they work. And so I really need to make some time to learn that and maybe get better audio when I'm shooting on location so I can deal with wind issues and stuff. That would be nice. And here's the thing that I think, just now, forming an opinion about audio and how important it is. I think part of it is audio. Bad audio can give you a headache, but bad video is less likely to. It might induce a seizure for some people, small percentage of the population. But if you are super loud and super quiet and people are constantly adjusting their volume and then getting blasted and, RIP headphone users and all that kind of stuff, that can give you a headache. And so we got to protect ourselves. I don't want to have a headache for the rest of the day. No, thank you. So I think that is a big part of what that boils down to. Maybe the ASMR crew might have more to say on that, but that's sort of my general opinion. Been working on audio recently. Yeah, I think it's a struggle. Hey, my beautiful, breathtaking vessel. Okay, I don't know exactly what you're referring to there. Is it me? Am I beautiful? Breathtaking. Okay, vessel. I'm not a vessel. But it sounded complimentary if you're talking about me. If not, I don't know. It's a cool phrase, though. I like it. It's like something... yeah, I don't know. Oh, hey, Mattcraft is here. Howdy, boss. Howdy. Yeah, actually, funny thought about calling people boss. I actually have something on this, believe it or not. I mean, yeah, I'm the admin. He's the mod. He's one of our top mods, and he's been with me since like a while. No, actually, he was the first mod that I got to pick. I remember when Alexis was around, so that was kind of cool. Worked out well, I think. Anyways, here's something about calling people boss, which is kind of funny. It's something to think about. Like sometimes if you call your boss or someone else boss, it might feel like a term of endearment. Or it might feel like you're putting in the status relationship, like reminding them that they're in charge or you're subservient or something like that. But I thought that for years. And then I met Penn and Teller, the magicians. And so I was in Vegas and I went to the Rio Theater to go see their show. And they sign autographs afterwards. And so much respect for Penn and Teller in so many different ways. They're very smart people. But they go into the lobby after the show and they stay there until everyone who wants an autograph or a picture or to speak to them has had the opportunity. So that's amazing. And Teller speaks. Like, as soon as he's off the stage, he doesn't stop talking. That's kind of fun, too, because, like, you're there physically, and it's like you get this unique experience. I think he's done a couple of things since then where he has actually talked on, like, sitcoms and stuff, so people know what he sounds like now. But it was just a cool moment for me, because I've been a fan of theirs for a very long time. And so I was like, wow, like, Teller won't shut up. That's funny. And then I go to see Penn Jillette. And there's a huge crowd around him. There's a crowd around both of them, but they're standing in different parts of the lobby. And he says he calls everyone boss. And so I was like, what? That's an interesting affectation that he's doing that he's choosing to call everyone boss. And I'm watching him interact with all these people as I'm waiting. He's like, oh, should I make it out to boss? All right, there you go, boss. Oh, hey, boss, thanks for waiting. Let's take a picture. And I was thinking about it, and I'm like, is it just that he doesn't know their names and it's the way of referring to them? But the more I think about it and the more I know how smart a man he is and how he was interacting, I think it serves an actual very important grounding purpose for him. I think, and this is my crazy theory, I don't know if there's anything behind this, I think he does that to remind himself that these people are his boss. They because they come to his show, because they watch a show or buy whatever product he's got out there or watch things that he appears on, they are his employer. And I think that's how he reminds himself. And so and also because he's a very tall man. And so I wonder if it's partly that he's like, this is how he doesn't start to think of them as little people. And so I really like that idea. I don't know if it's real or if I made it up or what, but that's my theory. And whether it's true to him or not, I think it's a great way of looking at the world, especially if we do start to become successful and we start to get thousands or millions of subscribers. Whether you have 1,000 true fans or 1 million subs or just 500,000 views, which I hit recently on Vacation Impossible, which is awesome, by the way. Whether you have any of that, how do you not at some point potentially get this inflated ego and sense of yourself to the point where you become unrelatable? That you become like Neil Diamond, who has a clause in his contract that says people can't look him in the eye. Do you want to become like that? Or do you want to be someone who, no matter how successful you are, if you've got a minute and somebody wants a picture and it's not interrupting your day, you're going to do it? that you're going to make the time for the fans and the people that bring you there, and realize that, you know, subscriber number 32 is potentially just as important as subscriber 1032 or 1,032. And how do you continue to show your appreciation and value your audience? And so I think that that's one of the ways that he does it, is he calls people boss that they come to his show. And I would, you know, I want to ask him about it, because, you know, at the time I was just like, oh my God, can I get a picture and can you sign this, please? And your show is amazing, and, you know, fanboy, right? But if I were to ever meet him again, I think I'd want to ask him about that. And of course I try to, you know, get it on camera, put it on the channel. Yeah, I wonder. And I hope the answer is yes. And even if it's not, that's okay, because I think I've come up with something that I personally think is kind of cool. And so, like, it's interesting. You know, sometimes the labels we put on things matter. So I don't know. I bet Matt didn't expect me to go off that tangent, but and so that's interesting. So I mean, like, I don't know. I think that's kind of cool. So anyways, yeah. I can't find it. You tried. Oh, you're talking about activating that thing. That's interesting. Let me see if I can. Ooh, do I want to play with that on this? Nope. I'm gonna switch accounts. What the heck? What? Okay. It's not letting me switch. It's not letting me doing anything there. That's weird. Okay, I would show you, but either YouTube or Firefox is being a dick right now, so I can't show you. Top of the evening, dude, says Ross's Vision, and the rest of the day to you, sir. I believe that's an Irish greeting, top of the morning to you, and the response is the rest of the day to you. So yeah, what time zone are you in? It's 2:30 p.m. here. I'll probably be wrapping up pretty soon. I kind of miss talking to you guys, and I did owe you guys a live stream from April, so there's that. We'll see how this goes. I mean, I don't want to be the guy who's like, if I get a bunch of likes and comments and subscribes off of this live stream, I'll keep doing it. But at the same time, I'm becoming very conscious of the fact that I'm super time poor. So could I spend this time collabing with someone? Could I spend this time managing the group? Could I spend this time editing my next Vacation Impossible video or a TubeBuddy tutorial or something? And so I'm thinking I do kind of need to look at the analytics to focus my time, excuse me, where it can do the best good. I should probably be playing with my lav mics right now and learning how to use those damn things. You know, there's a lot of different things I could be using my time for. And so I'm trying to be judicious about it, because we don't have an endless supply of time. So I think I'm going to be looking a little bit more about what is getting the likes on this channel and my other channel. What is getting comments? What you can look into your analytics to see what videos people are subscribing from. So you know, interacting with these. You know, if you're enjoying this, sharing it, you know, on Reddit or anywhere else, for rewatch or some of the tip videos we've got here on the channel, you know, am I going to spend my time on Small YouTubers Boost or Vacation Impossible or something else? You know, I'm going to have to start, just as a practical measure, it's a practical matter, looking at what people appear to be enjoying and interacting with more, so I can focus on things that people get the most out of. So that's just a thing. Ross's Vision. I've been doing this for 5 years now. That's awesome. I've been on YouTube a long time, so, you know, I can relate. And you know, the funny thing is I try not to judge people based on how long they've been on the platform. DJ Talks has been on the platform since 2011, but if you go to Vacation Impossible, October 17th, 2006 was when I first joined. And I posted my first video like 2 years later. I've been filming since 2001. I was on the platform for 2 years before I thought, oh, hey, I should upload my videos there too. So, you know, I respect the longevity. I do respect people who stick with things over a period of time, absolutely. But sometimes people are like, oh, I've been on YouTube for 3 months and I only have 48 subscribers. Am I good? There's no objective measure. The algorithm treats people differently because, like, certain content works well with the algorithm. A daily vlogger, the algorithm will love. An animator who can only put out a video once a month, the algorithm's not going to love so much, and that's unfortunate. I wish it was a little bit more of an even playing field. Part of why I'm here, I'm trying to level the playing field for people, giving them, you know, knowledge and stuff. But wait a minute, is it only on the homepage? Hold on. I don't have that box either. I have the awesome channels. Did YouTube shut that off? What's going on here? Hey guys in chat, remember when I would always talk about like what was it, popular channels versus related channels? You know that box that would be in the bottom right hand corner just underneath the channels that you recommend? Is it gone? Do you guys see it when you're on YouTube? Do you? Huh. This is interesting. I'm going to check a couple channels here. Let me pick some small ones so I can highlight some small creators that I like. Oh, here's Angela Lynn, who I just did a collab with. Okay. She actually doesn't have that. I should have told her about it. I didn't notice. Let's see. Somebody else. Achilles Melee. It's not there either. Max Hickson. It's not there either. Stupid Robot Fighting League. Is it because I'm on premium? If I went like incognito, would it appear? This is very interesting. Peak Time Vlogs. It's not there. On channel. Huh. I think I've just stumbled across something that changed. How about Warren, my friend Warren? I keep telling him he needs to set up his channel properly. I told him, give me access to your channel for 1 hour. I will make it better. He's a busy guy, though. I sympathize. Oh, he's got a Vivo now. This is interesting. Guys, can you confirm? I wonder if it's because I'm on premium. Maybe if I'm not logged in. I'm just going to open up a quick incognito thing in Chrome. Yeah. It's not showing when I'm incognito either, so it's not a premium thing. I think YouTube got rid of it. Huh. Well, I mean, I don't know. It's news to me. Breaking news, I guess. Gary Dunlop. I could go a channel review. Not had one in a while. Just so you know, I haven't uploaded in around a week due to a problem with Premiere Pro. I think I actually kind of need to cut the live stream short, unfortunately. Hopefully I'll catch you next time, Gary. I got some stuff, some errands I need to clean the house. And a bunch of other stuff I've been putting off for too long. The line is potential is a drop shadow. Okay, that's cool. Anyways, that was interesting. We're leaving on an interesting note that it seems that that box is gone. Interesting. Always changing. That's part of why we, try to keep this channel, I'm going to try and keep a little bit more active with it because, interesting. Google Play link. I should do that for my podcast. I'm learning a bunch of stuff. Okay. Well, anyways, thanks for watching. So let me know, not in chat, but in comments. Let me know if you want me to continue these live streams and what shape you would like them to take. That's sort of my takeaway. Your mission, if you choose to accept it, is comment on this video, not in the chat, but on the comment section, and just so I can look back at it later easier. And let me know, should I continue the live streams, and what should be the focus of the live streams if you want me to continue them? Why or why not? Should I do like a training session, spend a day on Photoshop and a day on channel tags, or should it be channel reviews or Q&A or something like we just did? I don't know. Or should I focus on like focused tutorial videos, not live stuff? Let me know what you think. And thanks so much for watching. It's been a blast. And we'll see you here on the channel. Hopefully you're subscribed with notifications turned on, or in the Facebook group, Small YouTubers Boost. Thank you so much for watching, and hope everybody has a fantastic weekend. This live stream will self-destruct in 5 seconds.